I guess there's a lot of cars.
This meeting is being recorded.
On Zoom.
Yes, we are, and we are recording. And there are people on here, and I hope I don't kick you off again.
Douglas, whatever her name was. Get kicked off there last time.
Dennis and Daniel, Lori, and
Okay. Ready to work the
I
board.
pronounce that.
Where's Bubba?
And
All right,
Doug.
ready.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes,
Yes,
Make sure your cell phones are muted or turned off. Call meeting to order at 7:05. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call. Greg Bradley.
Yes.
Albert Keys. Tom Backers.
Yes.
Diane Childs. Yes. Christine Johnson here.
If you haven't signed in, please do, and print so we know who's here. You can read it. Disclosure of conflicts. I have none. I have none. Approval of the agenda. We have to add ZBA membership extensions, appointments for Kurt Cox, Michael Siegfried, he is the new guy. Janine Casasa, Lucy Gerlach, Greg Snyder is fine. He will expire May of next year. So under zoning report, I guess. Points. H. Minutes. Of January 6th, December 21st. Anybody else have any changes to the agenda?
Where did you put ZBA?
What's that?
Where did you put ZBA?
CPA under the zoning report,
Oh, okay.
H on H. Let Mr. Keys do his report, and then we'll vote to reappoint. As far as I know, there's no objections to anyone being reappointed to the zoning board of appeals. Okay, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Okay, second. All
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Public comment?
My name is James Haggard. I'm a member of the Township Fire Department.
Clearwater?
I'm part of the local fire department. What brings me here tonight is I want to endorse Eric Raddick. I want to tell you why. I joined the fire department back in 2013, Jeff West. Left for 2 years and I've been back ever since. Under that time, I got to see many fire departments. Clearwater, Big Rapids Township, Colfax, and back here. I've seen what makes a good leader, what makes a bad leader, what gets people hurt, people killed. In that time, I've got the privilege to serve under some great officers and some very bad officers. Some officers I'm amazed people honestly didn't get killed. I remember the first day I walked into Clearwater after you guys back, and I believe for most of your times. I don't know if any of you guys were on the board back in 2013. Jeff was the chief. I think Greg was still, you were assistant at the time, weren't you? What year? 13.
Good enough.
First person who said anything to me when I walked into the fire department was Eric. First words out of his mouth was, "Hi, I'm Eric, I'm your captain, and I will take care of you." Ever since that day, I've gone on many calls with them. Seen enough stuff that will give a lot of people in this room PTSD, nightmares, send you to therapy. It has never failed. After one of those calls, I will get a text or call from Eric saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Do you need to talk?" I'm not an officer in the department, I'm just a member. So my political agenda is make sure that the department is better than when I left. That's all I care about. I want to make sure the department is the best. And I've been on some really good departments. I've seen departments that run circles around full-time departments. Now, maybe something to do with maybe something, I don't know. But
So your point is?
if you want this department to keep going forward and keep striving to become better, appoint Eric assistant chief. He's been there, he's done it. And I can speak for a lot of the members on that department, not officers, that's what we want. We want him as our assistant chief. Don't believe in the people who are not there. They do not speak for us. If you don't believe me, I encourage you to go to the board meetings and talk to the members. Not the officers, the actual members. So, closing, all I'm saying is, if you want to see us moving forward, not come stagnant, I encourage you, put your political agendas aside. Put this community first, put the department first, let us move forward, become better. And that's what I give Eric assistant chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, I'm moving on. Guest reports, special orders of business. Before we get to the minutes, I have been on the phone and email with Township Legal Counsel. He's still working on a format for a letter for the former clerk's overpayments. I do believe she stated at one of the meetings that she was willing to pay back anything that the audit found.
I think something was said.
Okay, I thought it was in an email, but I can't find it.
I think it was in a meeting here.
Yeah, I do believe it was at a meeting. So anyway, there is no documentation other than the minutes, and she was keeping the minutes. So I don't know if I'll find that or not. The other thing is back and forth with the sheriff a little bit. I did send the board one, copy of the modified contract that included, basically, escort, for the zoning administrator upon request and by appointment at the sheriff's discretion for, any service. We do have a new blight ordinance, the ST ordinance is still in the hopper. That's been driving me crazy for about 3 days, but, anyway, so he's waiting on the union contract. So he knows what the cost would be, what he's looking for us from. And, do you believe I have that on contracts somewhere? Is how many hours per month? So, and then he's gonna, send, our language, and all it was, requesting that, the zoning administrator, upon request, be scheduled to have a deputy escort him or her, for, any violation notice of, a local ordinance. And I was specifically looking at, the blight ordinance and, which is new. Okay, and the noise and nuisance ordinances for the summer months. Campgrounds, the beach, that kind of stuff. So, once he approves that language and plugs in some numbers, all we have to do is tell him how many hours we want. So when we get to that on the agenda, we'll do that. Also, consumers. We have scheduled, and I haven't checked it. I have a bill for their project to move the service from the old meter base at Freedom West to the new meter set up so we can power up the digital sign. So, that bill, I think is $438. As soon as I find it, I will hand it to the clerk. That's one. It's on the bottom. Also, Centaurus, this is a renewal, for our DM software that runs the server system. It's $69 for a year, so that's another bill. And we do have the invoice, and I don't know if this has been paid for the new tractor in the amount of $27,274.46, which is supposed to come from the capital improvement fund, correct? So basically what they're gonna do is splice the old box into the new box. $30. Okay, and other than that, the other thing was the fire department loan paperwork. These are all signatures. I've just got this morning. So I gotta read through it and sign in the dotted line. And, then they'll get the loan for their new, breathing apparatus. Okay, so we can move on to the minutes. Oh, also correspondence from MR Consulting. They will not be renewing their contract. Okay, so it's on March 31st. Well, actually, April 1st, we have no zoning administrator. Okay, and, just to let the board and the public know, I will not be doing that again. That turned into a real bag of worms for me last time, and I'm not gonna go through that again. So I put out a feeler, and I will, do a couple other ones. We need somebody that's familiar with the community. Okay, familiar with the zoning ordinance, and also, wants the job. Whether it's by appointment only and, 3 or 4 days a week or whatever, but we need somebody to man that office. Okay, now minutes.
However, they did agree to do month to month until we get that.
No, they're fine until, their contract expires on the 31st of March here. Here's a letter.
What they want afterwards.
Right.
And my question is, how many land use permits do they issue in a year?
Right, and they don't,
Well, we're out of order. Let's wait until we get down there.
right. This will be discussed in the zoning too, so. At any rate, we've got contracts on the back end and theirs came up. That's what prompted this, because I did send them an email and asked them, to submit a new contract. for this fellow. Okay, the minutes, everybody had a chance to look at, which is January 6th. I haven't put that. Okay.
Wasn't there a special meeting
Uh,
where you guys were gonna move the funds or approve the move of funds?
and I haven't,
You didn't. put that for
December 23rd. Basically, he's child's backers. Basically, this was, to improve the shade purpose at Lowe's, which the quote had expired and the new one was $800 more. So we basically owned that. We did approve this $1,700 one, which was only part of the order. Okay, transfer of funds, in case.
You need a copy of that?
But the
This,
23rd.
that's not, that's January
That's,
sixth.
this
We didn't
is
get a
this
copy
is
of
the
that.
23rd, I haven't done these up yet. The transfer of funds, for, basically, emergency, we had a motion to transfer 50K from the ARPA funds in case we needed it. The state took care of that with a deposit. And so that was, academic, and that was it. The public comment was on zoning enforcement.
We have to rescind that motion to move that money, since we didn't have to do that.
Yes.
Yes.
We should rescind that vote
Yes.
procedurally.
So that needs to, it's not on the agenda, but
Right,
we can do that under clerk.
yeah, clerk or treasurer. Treasurer's there, anyway, those are my notes on the, 23rd meeting. And I'll get those typed up tomorrow, so we have a copy of,
Even though we don't have a copy, they will automatically be approved
Right.
after this meeting.
because basically, nothing happened. Other than the vote to, move the funds if we needed it.
We didn't.
No, well, we didn't, so, we'll rescind that vote. Okay, so I will add December 23 to this. Okay, so December 21st. And I did, send you synopsis then. I did look at that.
I would make the motion that we approve the December 21st.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Derek, did you get your credit card?
I've been informed.
Yeah,
I know, it's no problem, I don't know if it's. Township or.
January 6th, let's cut and run. That was a resolution for early voting. Everybody get their postcards.
Yes.
I
Man.
don't know how the state expects us, everybody to pay for this. You'll be spread out over 9 days. Okay,
Motion to approve the January 6th minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The rest of the meeting was basically public comment on the STR proposal. Both sides, I just let everybody talk, speak their piece. Since then, I spent several hours going through it. All right, before we get too far off topic, this is my file. All right, public comments, notes, 3 other, STR ordinances And I've been through ours twice at this point, and I need to go through it at least twice more before we spread it out and have an honest discussion about what we want to see that's enforceable here. So I would like to suggest that we set up a meeting date at some point in the future. Okay, probably a week or two away. So that I can get all these ducks in a row, all the comments from the public addressed, all the changes suggested by legal addressed, there weren't many. Okay, and see if there's anything lacking, as far as the enforcement and application process goes. So I'll have all those notes done, spread them out to the board, and we can go over one by one. All right, so keep in mind the date, once we have, that figured out. We can set the date, notify the public. You can't make Saturdays, weekends, Christie?
I can if I have to.
Okay, because I would expect this to be like a 2-hour meeting, just addressing that.
I did speak with, Tina Fields, and she gave me this, from their minutes. From the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, ex post facto law, saying, nothing can have retroactive effect or force. So even when this ordinance is passed, it does not apply to those who are already practicing. You gotta keep that in mind. It will only be new. So the sooner we get it done, the
Right.
better, so that
But
all
I'd
the new applicants.
rather make sure it's done right the first time instead of going back and doing it over. All right, we're on time to go. So, the minutes have been taken care of.
For treasurer's report. That's your agenda.
Yes, here it is,
So many papers.
yeah. Okay, we're down to, okay, legal reports, I don't have anything, like I said, on the, overpayment situation. And, the, one thing I wanted to do too was, contract the insurance company lawyer and, make sure that the, insurance company was gonna execute these settlement as planned. So we can plan for the quarterly payments in the budget. Other than that, just waiting on the sheriff.
We hadn't gotten any confirmation on the 30,000.
Yeah, basically, make sure the insurance company's. Okay, treasurer,
Who's gonna be there?
no, I'm gonna follow up on that, and make sure I want something in writing from them. That the insurance company will indeed,
So we'll have a word at the next meeting.
right, or as soon as I can get it, I'll just spread it out and let everybody know. Okay, treasurer,
Yes, sir. You've got the treasurer's report. We now have the ability to pay taxes online. You have to go to clearwater.com and follow the directions. It's right there. So with the credit card. So we are still working on getting so other payments can be made, like rentals and stuff like that online. That's not set up yet, but we're working on that.
That's good news.
okay, this, metro extension. Metro right away extension. This just needs to be signed. Extension for a term to end on December 31st, 2028. Agreed to and on behalf of the Clearwater Township Board. I think, this is a contract for payments from AT&T. And, I would suggest that, we approve the extension and, make it a roll call vote, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Motion to approve the extension of the AT&T Metro Act right-of-way permit.
I'll second that motion.
Joanne Belt,
Yes.
Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Albert Keys.
yes,
Christine Johnson, yes. Tom Backers.
Yes. And where did you want to put this? Calcasieu County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan.
That is something that Margaret attended a meeting for.
I can fill you in on that.
Okay,
If you don't sign off on the countywide plan, if you say we have a natural disaster, you're not eligible for
Any of the disaster relief and
reimbursement by
resources.
federal government stuff, because we did participate in them,
Okay,
you know.
so should we get this out of the way while we're at it?
I can make that motion that we,
What
do they call it, the Calcasieu County.
that would be
Calcasieu
resolution
County.
2 of 2024.
Yeah.
second that motion,
This would be resolution 2 of 2024. Whereas all jurisdictions within Calcasieu County have exposure to natural, technological, and human-induced hazards that may damage or destroy life, property, environment, or local economy. Whereas proactive mitigation of known hazards before a disaster event can reduce or eliminate damages to impact life, property, and the environment. Whereas the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, Public Law 106-390, established new requirements for pre and post disaster hazard mitigation programs. And whereas the 2023 Calcasieu County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan 5-year update has been developed in accordance to the DMA of 2000 to reflect the concerns of the citizens and stakeholders of Calcasieu County. And whereas Clearwater Township previously adopted the 2016 Calcasieu County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan on 19 April 2017. And Clearwater Township affirmed participation in the maintenance of the 2023 Calcasieu Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan and committed to participating in the update of the plan no less than once every 5 years. And whereas the Calcasieu County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan provides a set of actions to reduce the risk from natural hazards through education outreach, establishes a foundation for coordination among agencies in Calcasieu County, identifies future mitigation projects, and meets the qualifications for federal assistance programs in order to be eligible for FEMA pre-disaster and post-disaster mitigation grant funding. Now therefore be it resolved that Clearwater Township does hereby adopt the 2023 Calcasieu County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan 5-year update as an official plan of Clearwater Township. I move to approve the resolution 2 of 2024 as read.
Oh, that was already moved and seconded.
Okay, I'll second it.
You moved, you seconded. We
Okay.
already had that. So roll call vote, Tom Backers,
Yes.
Joanne Childs.
Yeah.
Albert Keys.
yes,
Christine Johnson, yes. Greg Bradley.
Yes.
I will actually retype that with the resolution 2 on the top of it, and then have you sign it.
Okay, but in the meantime. Pair of loose ends. The clerk checks for approval.
Right, I don't have any checks for approval. You'll notice on your, and I think I said that in, that when I sent it out in the packet, that December and January payments are on this form because the check numbers were assigned when we had the deposit come in and could pay all of the bills. So this report is actually much larger than it typically is. However, a lot of those went out in December. And very few in January. And clerk balances with the treasurer and with the bank. And I apologize for the lateness of the treasurer's report. That actually happened because Dee and I discovered that when I write a check out of capital improvement or Metro or ARPA, even though it comes out of that fund, for her, it only says general fund, and she didn't realize that those checks came out of those other funds, so her funds were messed up. And I had to go through,
Her
well,
funds
I
didn't
had
match
done,
your
it,
funds.
and we had to fix it, but it's fixed now, and so clerk and treasurer
I'll
balance
say
together.
so hers didn't reflect the cost, well, the fund separation.
Right. Just because those checks didn't show that they were from those. And I think, other than that, the only thing that I would have is, I would make the motion that we rescind the previous vote from December 23rd, authorizing the movement of funds from ARPA to the general fund.
Okay, I'll second that.
Roll call vote, Joanne Childs,
Yes.
Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Tom Backers,
Yes.
Albert Keys.
Yes.
Christine Johnson, yes.
Okay, so we get to the sheriff's department. I think our original suggestion was for 40 hours a month.
Yeah.
Which would have been approximately, I think, from last year, would be $46,000 per year for 40 hours. Also in the, I don't know if you saw it or not, I had it highlighted in there, part A on the draft that I transferred to Word and so I could play with it. Was basically the scheduling of hours, well, the banking of hours. As he suggested, in the wintertime, he doesn't need 40 hours a month to do, security checks on vacant homes for the snowbirds. And we're not that busy, other than traffic accidents. So I wrote a little thing in there authorizing the banking of hours or the at his discretion, basically with our approval, but I mean, at the same time, he could move hours from one month to the other. And they would be tracked not only by us, but in his monthly report. So if he showed up at the end of a month with his monthly report, said we spent 32 hours last month, it means he saved 8 hours to use in the 4th of July weekend or Memorial Day or Labor Day, wherever he wanted to use those. But it would be basically up to us to make sure that the tracking was done. And that our numbers could agree, so we got.
Could we check and see what it would be to get a full-time, the price, and then put it on?
The last full-time cop that he said he wanted to hire was roughly $120,000.
Okay, because we could actually put that out as a millage and be done with it. Vote it out, put it on the ballot in the fall, and then it would be covered and we don't have to deal with, they'd be totally responsible then instead of us following up and trying to keep track of it. Just a thought. It'd be their responsibility. And if we get a vote of the people of our township backing it, we're not taking money from our general fund.
Yeah, and if they turn it down, that's,
Well, if they turn it down,
we're back to the drawing. But for the immediate future, for this year.
I wanna know
Basically,
if-
he's gonna, when we tell him how many hours we want, he's gonna give us a monthly rate. Once the union contract is resolved.
The public safety
We should
is,
have that for next meeting.
yeah, we're all discussing at the public safety meeting and comparing, and we've talked to Marv, and they have full-time, and we're just, it's in discussion, so I like what they come up with included, because there is an attorney also on our committee, and that's important.
Well,
I would prefer for
We would
this to
need
be a fiscal year contract,
Mhm.
if anything, but, I wanna know what they're gonna do 8 hours in Clearwater Township. If they're 40 hours a week,
40 hours a month.
40 hours a month.
that's.
So that's 10 hours.
No, if you're looking at the original, okay, that was one of the corrections I made. Cause it had 40 hours a week in there on the original contract.
Yeah, it did. That's what I was looking
changed
at.
that, but that's why I transferred it to Word,
Yeah.
because when I sent it back to them, I didn't want there any question about that. So it was changed to 40 hours a week,
A month.
a month,
Okay, so 40 hours a month.
from 40 hours a week, 40 hours a month.
So
Okay,
10 hours
and,
a week.
he could bank, some of those hours at his discretion for use in the summer months when we have higher traffic, higher population.
Is that actual time in our township, or is that coming from Calcaster?
That
What?
includes them doing reports, that includes them coming to meetings.
That also includes, when they get a call from dispatch, that's when their log starts. Doesn't matter where they're at in the county.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when their call starts, so they're on the clock for
And
us if they're
property
responding
checks
to us.
when requested.
Okay, so yes, their travel time is included in those hours.
And property checks are included in those hours too. I can see us going probably way over
And I
that.
wanna know what
Mhm.
zoning enforcement is. What are they going to be doing? It doesn't really lay
That would
out
be-
in here.
But basically for process service, if you're gonna write up a violation for blight and, somebody, gets confrontational about it, that was for the benefit of Lisa Leahy, so that she can pick up the phone. Basically
And-
call
and
the
that's
sheriff,
Once or twice a year.
and, yeah, but that would be, I just wanted to make, him aware of,
It's included in this whole,
right?
if we need them.
I just wanted it specified in the contract. Okay, it would have to be upon request and by appointment according to his manpower needs. Okay, so they would have to get together, okay, I need to go serve some papers on this dude. Okay, because he's in violation of his blight ordinance, and this is like the third time we're citing him, we're gonna take him to court. All right, and he's been confrontational before this, so I would like a deputy there present so that this guy acts civilly when I basically hand him the ticket.
Is that spelled out in here at all?
It just says
Will be.
on C, this is a proposal, deputy escort for process servicing of township ordinance violations upon request by the township zoning administrator. The sheriff shall schedule such escort as department manpower allows at the location requested and at the availability of the zoning administrator.
Okay, that was my revised version, and I sent it out in the email,
Right.
so you're looking at the original.
Yeah, I pulled that out so I could look
Okay,
at.
so that's what the sheriff
That's
has
what I
in.
was looking at.
Okay, and the other thing was the banking the bond.
And that was my question too, is how did their cost go from $43,773 down to $21,000? How did that happen for more hours?
For more hours.
Yeah, the original one said $43,773.
Yeah, well, that's probably another error I didn't get to. But yeah, I just gotta send it to, the county lawyer. But,
I wanna reiterate what Joanne was saying, maybe we should put something in front of, on the ballot and let the people decide, as far as what they want.
well, it would have to go on November's ballot, or
Is there one in August?
there's an August primary for, the general election. Okay, that would be precinct delegates, primary candidates for, the November election. So, those would be, if we had ballot language to that effect, ready. And it has to be filed 45 days prior to the date of the primary. So first Tuesday in August, back up basically a month and a half. And that language has to be in the county clerk's hands at that time.
If we get one full-time, 40 hours, and we don't have to share that person with Calcasieu.
Yes,
They
you
would
do.
be
He
here.
still works for the county
You're
sheriff.
Well, I know that, but if they're here and we can get them 40 hours, and with the approval of the voters, why wouldn't we wanna do that? He would be
Especially with the
here.
budget, the shape,
Huh?
with the budget in the shape that it's in,
Oh, we can't with the budget, but with the millage, we
with the
could.
millage.
That would be like 3/4 of a mill, it's 100.
Well, here's the deal. In the meantime, what do? Because first of all, you have an election in August.
Well, in the
They-
meantime, you're looking
they
at the sheriff's
passed-
report, and they're very active in the community right now.
They pass it, okay? It's gonna take a year for those taxes to show. So you can't budget them. Okay, well, we have an election, let's, contract the sheriff, because you're not gonna see those funds for another year.
Not till the second, so winter taxes come over
Right.
the following year.
So you also have to take that into consideration. But if you wanna put it on the ballot, we need some ballot language.
I just don't wanna go back to the way it was, we need to be able to monitor, we need this to be able to.
And I would like to visit the idea of ordinance enforcement officer rather than
Mhm.
having the sheriff's department be
Like that
responsible
too.
for our ordinance enforcement.
Okay, and what's he responsible for?
Doing what you said, the sheriff.
Well, I don't think the sheriff department is responsible for ordinance and
Yes,
enforcement. They're just gonna go
anything
along
that
with
has
higher,
police powers,
make them
nuisance,
people feel more comfortable.
right? But as far as the sheriff's department, 40 hours a week deal, then,
Well,
ballot
that's-
initiative first, the language. And then you're gonna wait 18 months before you see any of that money. So you still have to have something in the interim.
At least in the summer months, winter months, not so much.
Okay, so anyway, once we get this polished up and we get the numbers for, now, here's the deal, do we want 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, or 20 hours?
What were
a
they
month?
doing before?
We're
We were
It was
doing
20?
40,
doing 20 hours per month.
20 hours a month, we were gonna double it,
Yeah, we're gonna double.
And what was the reason?
so
for
I need a
doing-
motion,
So we'd have them here more.
right,
A lot of stuff happens.
I don't know, and
especially summer months.
it's hard for me to say, I'm sorry, but
I would like,
I see in the last 6 months, there's less crime than there was when we had a contract. I mean,
Well, that doesn't, that, you're excluding the gunfire at, 10:30 at night coming from down the street here.
oh, I live right here in town.
Well, I understand that,
they gotta come to those.
I was hearing a lot
And,
more
the,
when we had,
donuts in
Winter time too.
the Cone Corral where they took out a telephone pole and street light.
Summer's coming.
Yeah,
Summer's
what I've
coming.
heard
Yeah,
is the people.
that's why I'm
doing
saying
that already
fiscal
know.
year.
Okay, so here's the deal,
What
make a suggestion. We want 40 hours, 20 hours, or split the difference in 30 per month.
I'm not ready to approve it at all.
Okay, well, that would come up once we have something to approve, which means we need a contract, which means he needs a number so he can give us the number.
So,
I'm okay with 40 hours.
40 hours, would you make a motion, sir?
I make a motion that we hire the sheriff department for 40 hours per month.
Second.
we're still discussing all this, so I'd like to give it 60 days before we finally set and then start in April,
This is,
the new.
this is just to give the sheriff.
Oh, okay,
Okay, we're still working on a draft
okay.
contract.
We're just
Okay.
giving numbers.
Okay, he has to fill
So
in
your motion is to
40 hours Again,
suggest 40 hours for the contract.
Yeah.
Request a contract for 40 hours.
Request a contract for 40 hours. Thank you.
Which is in the rec.
that's basically for,
Per the rough draft. That we sent.
for dedicated township law enforcement.
This is, Mr. Keys's,
Yes,
motion.
that is per the rough draft, 40 hours per our rough draft that we sent.
Right. So I could call him or email him and confirm that, and he can plug in the numbers. Then in February, we can change the date. We can make it April 1st and do it fiscal year to fiscal year.
Contract with the deputies.
okay, I don't think that needs a roll call vote because it's not really. a-
Okay, all in favor? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, so Public Safety Committee, roads, fire department, anything unusual there? You wanna point out?
No, we, had a run sheet, that agenda.
What did we have, comment from public safety?
Because
She
what
just
I
made
said,
it.
John's not here, there was a lot of discussion, there was discussion about the assistant chief, and we came up with,
Okay,
I mean, it was very good discussion and consensus, and we came with away with agreement and a promise. And, my biggest concern was like the liability, and I've been assured that that's not gonna be an issue, so.
you want to get those committee before you go to fire department? That's what they wanted.
Yeah, Mr. LePew,
Yes.
anything on the roads?
We did have a meeting yesterday or 2 days ago, but it was before the road commission meeting, which was just yesterday. They postponed theirs a week because of the new year, I guess, of the couple scheduling or something. But anyway, the only thing I can just recall right off the top of my head was the roads that I had mentioned that were gonna be tar and chipped. And I said that we needed to be aware that we may have to pay 20% of that cost. I did ask John about that at the meeting, and because it was maintenance that is derived from the county, so they were the instigators of the maintenance, so there is no charge for us, so we won't have to pay.
So basically, it was their decision, their pay for it.
It's already part of our millage that for taxes that we pay, so it's coming out of the county.
Okay. So there's no additional
No
cost.
additional, yeah. That's just for those tar and
Chip seal.
chips.
I got a question for a road commission.
Certainly.
You know, a couple of months ago, a lady was in here wanting a street light down here at, Main Street. and-
Around like.
Right, well, consumer says they gotta move the pole and all that, okay? But, I noticed that the trees on the north side of the road need to be trimmed. You're almost in the intersection before you see the stop sign, okay?
Okay.
And the cheapest way out of that, I think, would be to get a price for those delineator signs to put up at the end of the road,
Dead end?
You know.
Yeah.
and instead of moving a street light and all that. You know, could do that and it's done, you know. And just get, if you find a price for that, we could pay for that out of the right of way funds if we had to.
And this is, what's the solution now?
Well,
Yeah,
There's no road there, it comes to a dead end.
it comes to a dead end and there's no,
well, there was more reason besides that though, because there was a lot of people congregating right there. That was the other thing, she wanted for basically a safety.
people are running off the end of the road because the stop sign's covered up by brush. There's no, anything on across the road, there's no indication that the road ends.
Right.
Yeah.
So just a reflector would be.
Those reflectors which show the arrow going both ways and, you know.
Could probably cut some of that brush down.
Yeah.
Stop sign too, yeah.
Cause I had back up the other day, I said, gee, stop sign's not even here. But it is, I mean, you're up on.
You're up, you just can't see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when there's leaves on the tree, you're not gonna see it until you're there.
I'll mention it too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now the fire department.
Okay, yeah, it's got a few things. My name's Derek Carl, I'm the fire department chief here in Clearwater Township. 2023, we had a total of 311 runs. So, a little bit, I mean, it's about what we normally do, for runs. We had a little bit more structural fires, last year than we normally do. We got a couple new trainees, they're in their 18th week already, so they'll be coming out in May, so we should use the help, you know. Two of them that are in, it's a hybrid, training academy that's been helped out. So it's really working out well, I think, help us with trips, because they don't have to go, it can be a lot of work. Miss miles or like a jail parlay, so. They actually time you, you can't like go watch TV, watch a big show or Netflix, so it's actually a really good program. Makes some study. And like, supervisor said, we have got a loan for some air packs that are needed. We have a lot of them that are failing. We actually got some loaner packs with some kind of out of date, pass alarm systems, so we should be getting those packs within, I would say, them. We get everything, all the paperwork done by the time they get us all the stuff. Everything's in stock, so it should take a couple of days for them. Once everybody get up here, we get trained on and we get it up. And then I got one request for the board. I wanted to nominate Derek Bradley as our current captain, 22-year member of the fire department here in Clearwater Township. I would like to promote him to assistant chief. You know, with the vacancy, Greg, stepping down from that position, I'd like to appoint Eric to that position. So, up for discussion on that, if there needs to be.
I'd like to make a motion that we elect Eric Bradley to, assistant fire chief.
Appoint,
Point.
I would second that.
Okay.
Need a roll call
Is
vote.
it a, hold on. Is it an appointment or is it approving a nomination?
Basically an appointment, yeah.
It is an appointment.
He has nominated an individual as a candidate.
Eric Bradley as assistant fire chief. Okay. And that was motion by Keys, second by Backers.
I would ask though, I would ask the fire chief just to monitor, Eric Bradley's, you know, as far as his, I know he's had some, what I've heard, behavior issues. And we just want to make sure that keep him in check there if he needs help and give us help.
Yeah, it's gonna be under my leadership and, you know, I'll be documenting his performance. For that.
They passed you. Is that that's a roll call?
Roll call vote,
Okay. Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Tom Backers,
yes.
Albert Keys,
Yes,
Christine Johnson, yes, Joanne Childs.
Chief, Clark's recommendation, I say yes.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it for turn. Thank you.
Planning commission,
all right. Tonight's meeting was held between the planning commission and the zoning board of appeals. Both held elections. Planning commission officers are chair Dan Packard, vice chair Janine Casasa, secretary Tina Fields, and new commissioner Christopher Gura. ZBA to forward officers at the meeting dates, and I did see that they did forward that. Thanks, everybody could have it. Commissioner Gerlach, now president, planning commission, would like to know if Christopher has been sworn in.
No, but I did speak with Dan and he talked with Chris to let him know that he needed to come into the office and get that done.
Okay, so that is.
It's in the works.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanna put that. Okay, township boards needs to start looking for applications to fill Commissioner Tina Field's vacancy. Term ends June 1st. And we really want to look at somebody that, and she's been a secretary for many, many years. It might be something that might lean one way or the other as far as applicants. I think we should find somebody that is pretty strong in that field. Okay, moving on, rezoning petition for Malin, property number 004 016 011 30. Address is 7726 Rapid City Road Northwest. Was reviewed and accepted. Public hearing to be held on February 5th at 7 o'clock in the Red Schoolhouse. Notices surrounding addresses need to be sent out.
That's already been done.
It's been done, okay. Thank you. Last thing is Killian and Shelley, special use permits were approved with conditions. To be forwarded to the board for their review by Commissioner Secretary Fields. And I didn't see anything in there, so that'll probably be something that she's gonna write up and send to the board for our next meeting. Conditions part of that, kind of got lost in that, so she will forward that to us. And that's all I have for the planning commission report.
Okay. So zoning, we're down to the ZBA, reappointments. We have, Mr. Cox, Seafried, Janine Casasa, Lucy Gerlach. All expire, in 2024. Starting with Mr. Cox and Seafried, basically next month. All right, so, I'm not sure. Are these 3-year terms?
21 to 24, so.
Mhm.
So, but we should kind of stagger these,
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
you know, but that basically would be required going into.
She was just looking at the first three.
Especially the
For
first
February
three,
and March,
she said.
yeah,
So you're looking at the first 3 then,
yes.
Yeah.
So that's. Like, let's see, three.
okay, and I understand that, they have no objections to continuing service.
I believe they were gonna continue their service.
Yes,
I know Lucy Gerlach is too. So, we could do them one at a time. And I would do all 4 of them. Okay,
I would go
motion to reappoint,
Lucy as well.
motion to reappoint Kurt Cox, Michael Seafried, Janine Casasa, and Lucy Gerlach
For a 3-year term.
to 3-year terms commencing to cover from 2024 to 2027.
Mr. Chair, I think we should do these one by one because it's dates.
Yeah.
I think they should be individual.
Well,
If we do them all at once, we're starting from now.
okay,
You
wait a
wanna
minute.
reword it?
Yeah, well, upon the expiration of their current,
Mhm.
to be reappointed for another 3-year term upon the expiration of their current term. Is that better?
Perfect.
So that would be all 4 of them, and I would, basically go into ordinance 22 and, stagger these. So they all don't come up in the line again. So that, once the ordinance is amended, we can go back and basically add a year or 2 to 1 or 2 of these, so that they're all don't fall in a group. Okay, so, roll call vote on the extension of, the terms for the 4 people.
We give a second.
Need a second, I'll second it.
Okay. Tom Backers,
Yes,
Joanne Childs,
Yeah.
Greg Bradley,
Yes,
Albert Keys.
Yes,
Christine Johnson, yes.
okay, and under the planning commission, Ryan, you had an application in for that. Are you still interested?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to verify that. Tina Field's gonna be hard to replace by anybody. Okay, she is a local historian and a walking encyclopedia on the Michigan compiled laws. And what she doesn't know, she has in that laptop. So, good luck with that.
I would suggest, that we continue, with the ad in paper
Right,
and continue looking until, her term ends, which is.
so we're specifically looking for a secretary. But, now I know, I did, question Janine on whether or not, she would be, willing and capable of, with some tutorage from Tina, assuming the duties of secretary, and she said she would be, willing to give that a try. But, that depends on whether or not we can find somebody that's up to replacing Tina. I don't think you're gonna get a 1-for-1 swap there. Okay, we will run an ad for planning commission member with some qualifications.
Does anybody know what is involved in land use permit and processing ZBA requests?
Yeah, basically, a zoning board of appeals request is a form, you fill out, you forward to the ZBA. They schedule a meeting or contact the individual. All right, if there is necessary paperwork that needs to go out to neighbors concerning the request, zoning board of appeals request would be after the planning commission turns down a variance request. Okay, they can appeal to the zoning board of appeals. If the zoning board of appeals turns them down, they have to go to court.
And land use,
Land use,
like,
basically,
do you guys
site
know
plan.
the laws, like how that process goes? or-
Right.
I do not know, that's why we need somebody qualified.
Building codes.
Yeah.
Basically, setbacks, well, and septic, setbacks from the road,
Somebody that knows how to
separation
do
of
the
accessory
research,
buildings, et
check
cetera.
all of the ordinances and
Right,
all of the
Yeah.
legal
Yeah,
requirements.
this is gonna be an easy. We got a hard time finding it.
So,
so we also need an ad for a zoning ZA.
if we don't have somebody by the March meeting, I would say we approve this month to month. But we can wait on them. I mean, I'm just saying,
Can I just make a suggestion? I mean, so, I mean, you're probably not gonna find somebody qualified, but, Marv is very, like, maybe you can hire him to train somebody. I mean, yes, he's got the knowledge.
As
Yeah.
far
It'd
as
be really
zoning,
nice to have somebody
Really
local,
does.
and I can give you, I'll talk to some of my customers that aren't from the area, but are very smart, retired engineers and stuff that would learn very quick. And, but that's what I think you need, is just somebody that's trainable, and Marv's company is very
Yeah,
capable of training somebody.
it's really not something you wanna learn on the fly.
no,
No, it kept us out of lawsuits.
a lot of legality to that, yes.
So, yeah, you're gonna put it in the paper for that?
Yeah, zoning administrator, planning commission. Secretary.
And then I'd say we keep that offer on the table.
Okay, maintenance. Evidently, the snow machines, that we had one complaint from the party store owner, that has been resolved. I did get a contact from Lars A phone call?
I've tried to, haven't been able to make,
Okay, he did call me back.
oh, did he? Okay.
Evidently him and Craig got together and ironed out the differences. And, Lars assured me that incident will not happen again.
Well, I called the county road commission. And basically,
I'm sorry, I don't know
Okay,
what the complaint was.
they was plowing snow up on the snow, on the sidewalk in front of the Valley Party Store.
Okay,
That's where the
When he
owner.
plowed their lots, he had a habit of leaving it on the sidewalk, and this has come up 2-3 winters in a row.
okay.
Okay, so that started this, but evidently, between Lars, and Lars was aware of it last year. And after the first incident happened, it didn't happen again.
Yeah.
Evidently, a new plow driver plowed it, the snow out of the parking lot into the sidewalk. Craig has to maintain the sidewalks,
Yeah,
so, there
There's
was,
not much space there either.
there was a.
And, you know, the Valley Party Store, they claim they own to the center of the road.
Well, it's hard to see. You have to pull into the road to see.
Well, you know, road commission says they can own to the center of the road, but the right of way goes in their front door.
Anyway, so, Lars and Craig got together. Lars, evidently had a new driver, wasn't aware of, the situation, and,
so
what Lars
resolved.
said, they had an agreeable civil conversation and ironed out their differences, so that shouldn't happen.
May I say something? I've had a lot of praise reports about Craig.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I'd like to see is some sort of, maintenance breakdown. Give us an update on what he's doing or
Mhm.
what he needs in the future. If we need something for the future, we need to start thinking about it now, especially with the budget almost.
Well, the snow blower on the tractor at Heritage Park is broke. Trying to figure out what broke on the blower part.
Okay, I thought that was,
He was gonna tear it apart, because we got 3 blowers that are all the same down there, looking for parts. So,
I
okay,
haven't seen his timesheet, but I do know that he took off early on Friday so that he could be available to work on Saturday and Sunday for the snowstorm.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he probably ended up with a little
I'm
overtime.
sure he ended up with some overtime. I spoke with him Sunday.
Just like some sort of report from maintenance himself,
Yeah.
not unless you wanna do that for him
I
too.
don't know what he's doing. I mean, you
Well,
know,
that's why we.
Well,
we talk.
his time sheet should,
Basically shoveling,
Yeah.
snow plowing.
right,
cleaning
well, in the
sidewalks,
wintertime, other than that,
Cleaning up the
I
township.
know he's been, reorganizing the garage over here, and I haven't been over to Heritage.
I know we need picnic tables painted, stripped and painted. I mean, that's some stuff that we need to get ahead of.
Need a warm place for that.
Okay,
He would need a work order for them.
Parks and Recreation, we have, did I print that contract? Request for grant applications,
Right here, if we don't have it.
whoops,
It's like, we'll put that back.
I didn't see it, I know I have it.
So it's.
You're talking Gordy Fraser?
And this was basically for new grants,
Yeah, right here.
and I questioned her, I sent her an email. Because if all the work had been done on the original Spark grant, I couldn't see spending another, 68. So basically, I asked her to justify her reasoning for this price tag of $6,500 to submit grant application materials that have already been done once,
It's
because it's the same.
it's not the same. grant.
She
It's a
said
new
there
grant.
was an extended version of the improvements to Freedom Park East, the nature trail, and
Yeah,
so,
I think can I mention, we did not get the Sparks grant that we had hoped to get. It was very disappointing. $1 million went to Grass River and 500,000 goes to us. So now we're not gonna do a part.
I think $6,500 would be well worth it if we can get the grant. I mean, there's never gonna be.
well, there's like 3 different grants she's applying for. I talked to her on the phone Monday. And, And basically it was specifically this issue. So now. Parks and Rec does have their own budget, they have their own millage. So,
A healthy balance in there.
I am going to, kind of let this slide and let you people discuss it. If, you wanna spend another $6,500 on, GFA.
Well, they have almost 50,000 in the bank. They're-
Yeah,
it's not
well,
gonna hurt their- It's not gonna hurt their.
I understand that, it's Parks and Rec money,
Yeah.
but, you know, I'm just,
I believe this would fall underneath the township.
Yeah, we have to authorize it.
well, we have to authorize the expenditure,
Right.
but it's their money.
Yeah, and they're planning, they're working hard on it and trying to figure out to improve the parks and,
See, and this is basically the extension of what was planned originally for, Freedom Park East, that where we had the request cut down because we couldn't.
it was for what, 995,000?
Yeah, there was 1.2 million for one side and 900 and something for the
Yeah.
nature trail side,
And we didn't get it, so.
so.
This one will, this grant will require a match. If we get it.
25% match, that's what it said.
Now, I think the grant for.
I don't think,
It's more than one grant, so.
yeah, there's, 2 or 3 she went. Okay, Natural Resources Trust Fund.
And recreation passport grant.
Restoration Passport, which is also part of the DNR. Well, actually, the Michigan, Trust Fund is the royalties from the Pigeon River Oil. Way back in the 70s. It used to be called the Cameron Land Trust Fund.
Grant application materials, the application process for the 2 grant applications include a number of items where engineering consultant assistant is important, besides the standard grant application. Then it goes further into detail on page 1.
Right, so. Basically, this is an outline and, the actual plans are not included for this. Which is what she's saying.
Maps.
Right. Anyway, I asked her to respond with an email explaining the difference between the 2. And I hope you all saw that.
I see the 2 grants, but, yeah. You know, my only concern is I don't see a dollar amount applying. Because if we're gonna say we're gonna cover the 25%, we need to know what that 25% is up front, probably.
Okay,
That's what the parks figured, there are the.
Right,
parks
but I'm
money
just saying,
said
it is
they-
$1 million.
they won't go over that.
what about, yeah, what,
Is it $1 million grant?
Oh, no, yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah, or is it $100,000?
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
Well, this was
That
actually
before we approve?
supposed to be presented last month, so they're already behind schedule and they do have deadlines for their
Mhm.
grant applications.
Yes, application due date is April 1st. So,
And they need time to prepare.
yeah.
No, either.
Parks and Recs has already given their blessing to use their funds to
Mhm.
pay the 65, so I don't have a problem with 65. Just I would like to know what.
As she explained, you attend the meetings, Parks and Rec?
Mhm.
Okay, you,
And they're pretty on top of things.
well, what I'm saying is,
They just need our approval.
that's
at the same
fine,
time,
but,
yeah.
how much money is the grant? And it's like his question.
Well, we don't know, because the grants are gonna apply for any
But
grant.
up to, you know,
I'm sure if it's way over our heads, that it's not something we're forced to do.
Right, they know
You know.
what their budget is, they know what
Besides,
money
it
they
has to
have.
be approved by the board before that can,
Yeah.
Okay,
I think the safeguards are in place when we get that approved.
all right, somebody make a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve.
Proposal number 23-650 from the GFA.
Yep.
Parks and Recreation grant
I'll second
application.
that.
Tom Eckers,
Yes,
Greg Bradley,
Yes.
Joanne Childs,
Yes,
Albert Keys,
Yes,
Christine Johnson, yes. And who will notify Parks and Rec that that has been approved?
Mhm.
You will, Joanne?
Yeah.
Thank you.
you all have that.
And let them know that we do need to know.
They'll
that grant
get it
amount.
when you do the sign the contract, give it to them.
yeah, that's gotta be signed.
And then what did you say? I'm sorry.
It's the one that we're gonna wanna know how much that's gonna be.
yeah, it does have to be signed. Okay, so it's moved down 118. You want a signature copy for your files? Just give me the signature sheet, no. They do.
They can put some initial in that.
Okay, so. Back.
That's part of this.
Oh, initial
I'm not sure if that's.
I got the,
owners.
So that's, consultant, yes, yeah.
We have still more on the parks, recreation on, we consider that. I didn't know if you were going on, I looked at your agenda. On the parks, they consider adding damage deposit to the rental of the gym. Now that we have a newly refurbished gym floor, we'd like to see it stay that way for a long time. Deposit paid for damages will help offset future work as well as make users more cautious. That's what they're suggesting.
like, how much a deposit,
Pardon?
how much?
They didn't say, just consider, for us to consider if that's something we wanna do. And they also said a public input session has been scheduled for February 20th, 6 to 7 p.m. at the Clearwater Township Community Center for the grant application requirements. That's another reason we have to get it moving. We have to have a public,
Oh, yeah, that's right, there was a public hearing required for
the
that.
20th is scheduled.
Okay. As far as, damage control over at the gym. The only thing I can see is one of the acoustic tiles getting trashed. And they're $1,200 a piece. So.
Is there anything in the rental agreement about damage?
And isn't that what our insurance is for?
Yeah,
I can't hide in the.
Yeah,
I don't know how
and,
they would do that.
well, yeah, all right, so the incident with the baseball team in the deep sink in the maintenance room. Okay, well, that was from somebody not closing the door. And hey, it was a 30-year-old plastic diesel, so it didn't take much to put your fist through. Which still hasn't been replaced, right?
No, it has to be.
You know, the damage, you know, I'm not saying it could happen, but it's not.
The total cost for the replacement of diesel tank at Lowe's was.
Who goes in there after everybody's been in there, and say, yeah, your name was done then,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
I can just see you open up a can of worms.
Yeah,
yeah.
we had the cameras, but still, I think, yeah, we're.
You know,
I don't know.
and besides, if we ever get the new camera system installed from Spectrum, all right, you'll have a video recording that you can look back and say, all right, there you are. This is what happened.
Then we can address it.
Then you can address it on
You
an
know,
individual.
do we have a rental form? And, you know,
Just put a caveat on the bottom.
Should say,
overall
I don't
damage,
know if it does.
You're responsible for any damage.
you know, and, you know, we have the video proof. I mean, if it's gonna be one,
Right.
you know,
I don't think it was ever proven who damaged the same.
No,
Even with
basically,
the
we had
video.
two baseball teams come in. And, you know,
And then they-
according to, John Bielski, one of them used a certain type of baseball, which he found in the maintenance room, so they were assuming
Mhm.
it was one team, so. And I'd rather not go through that again.
We probably,
That was 2 weeks worth of phone calls, just trying to,
do we allow baseball in there now?
probably we should not allow
No.
baseball. I know they just use that net and batted into that. That's different.
the other thing I would like you to take back to Parks and Rec is if you do want the ball fields and the soccer field maintained by a professional organization, you should, basically, start rounding up some quotations for the summer maintenance of Heritage Park fields. Okay, because I know, that Craig isn't gonna have the time to do both.
We do have a former, longtime coach at Calcasas, Bill Vandergriff, asked me in the fall, he would like to start training, over there, kids in baseball. He's excited about that. He wanted to do it in the fall, but they're not ready. So, we have to get the fields ready and.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
that's the big thing.
We should have some, basically professional groundskeepers
So,
come in and take care of them and be done with it. All right.
Didn't Eric
Because-
mention what time he'd like to do that?
him and Jared both suggested that, you know, and, Jared's boy went to some other travel ball.
Mhm.
Eric's oldest son's playing travel ball in Petoskey.
Well, what we need is someone in the spring before all
Yeah.
that starts.
Yeah. I'll ask
There's only
Eric.
like a month there, if we can get, and Jared might even help in that 1 month period before you start. We didn't catch him last year at that time. He and John didn't connect up.
Well, Eric said if they had a tractor, like which we do have, he could get it in shape in 2 weekends probably.
Well, that would be
But then
nice.
maintenance from there on is gonna be on us, you know, because.
I know Jared said if he uses the ball field, his kids, his team would actually put sweat equity into it and do it, but there needs to be a leader. Someone that's kind of over it, and say, yeah, we're gonna do this. We have the pictures now, we're all set for that.
I'll ask Eric if he wants to get with Jared and see what they're doing.
That would be good, because
We need some suggestions to put those ball fields in play for the summer.
Back to the gym, you know, we approved the township hall for the early voting, and Margaret and I had originally intended that we would use the zoning office for the early voting. However, you cannot keep the tabulator 10 feet away from the voting booths and that, so we can't, and also you can't get through that little doorway. It's only less than 32 inches, so it's not ADA compliant to get into the zoning office. So we are going to have to utilize the side of the gym floor as you come in the door and spread it out all along that side. But pickleball players
Yeah.
are already scheduled and will be in there, which is not a big deal because the pickleballs are light, they're not gonna hurt anything. But if they roll over in the area where people are voting, they can't go get their ball until that person is done. So I think we're going to need
Just put
a
them up there.
screen,
Yeah, a net,
a net, something that we can set up that will
snow
block.
fence.
A snow fence?
Yeah,
Well,
that
How high?
plastic stuff.
Just classic orange stuff with some plastic.
Well, I don't know, they could get a little crazy in there
I
sometimes.
think the best option is just to cancel the pickleball for them days.
Pickleball
You
for-
do
it's
know, Heritage,
8 days.
excuse me, the Heritage Festival put up the tents with the sides.
Yeah,
Why couldn't, is there a reason we couldn't use one of those big, long, 20-foot tents with the side that would protect coming from that way? They made their
just,
spook house with
just
it.
only put one side on it.
I don't think there should be anything going on when we got the elections.
Well, it's early voting and nobody's used to it, so I don't expect we're gonna have a
How
whole
many
lot of
hours a
people.
day do you
coming.
have to offer? Eight.
Yes.
Every day, someone has to be there all
I think
day.
one of them's a 12-hour day. But,
I mean, you can't have the, I mean, it's just too much.
So every day we have to cancel all of that.
Yeah,
A lot of people paid way
Well,
ahead.
tell them to contact the governor. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, really,
but I just thought
but
just
actually,
a
if you look
screen.
at it,
If we could build a frame and just put sheets,
Yeah,
I do that for a festival that we go
I'm
to.
just saying, there's accidents happen.
You know.
Plastic tablecloths.
because there
Plastic
might be
tablecloth?
nobody coming and vote.
Might not be.
There might be no, and the pickleball is, it's
Yeah.
like a wiffle ball,
I know,
it's really
I know.
light.
I'm okay with whatever you do.
Alright, so I'll need Craig to build something for me if he can.
I would just put up, as far as the noise goes, I don't think that's,
No, it's not.
but,
noisy.
as far as restraining the pickleballs from entering the voting area, I think, just a plastic snow fence and a couple of,
How many people do you, is it just like one person voting at a time? Or do you have a bunch of people voting at a time? How's it gonna be set up?
you show up.
It's gonna be set up just for 2 or 3,
Okay,
yeah.
I would say those candidates.
I don't know what.
The tents with the side, just put
Oh,
one
oh.
side up, it's not gonna come down on the top on them. It's all protected from,
Oh, yeah, like a.
that we
like a-
used it was like a 40-foot dungeon they used, the Heritage Committee did.
I was thinking.
We've got them, the Heritage Committee has them.
Bill the state for loss of revenue.
Yeah,
Bill the
We're
state
turning
for
this into a major project with a snow fence to keep the pickleballs away from the voters is basically all you need.
They already
And we
have
have
the
the snow fence.
They already have the posts with the chain, the link chain, so I mean, it really
Yeah.
could just attach to that.
Just something simple.
to keep
it
the
goes
ball
higher than
rolling
that.
over there.
Anyway,
It will, sometimes they go over,
sometimes.
you know?
But they're shooting back and forth this way.
All right,
and they're
let's
gonna
get
be
back
all-
on
Sorry.
on the road here. I would like to get.
We'll leave that up to the first.
All right, thank you.
Okay, the SPR amendments and recommendations, like I said, still in the process. Do we wanna, set a date now so we can all get together and go through this thing line by line? So that we can come up with a final draft to send to legal? I don't,
Yeah, it'll be at nighttime or Saturday.
I doubt. You figure it's gonna take a good hour and a half, 2 hours. This thing is 10 pages long, the last page is a sign, an approval sheet, is a signature sheet. But at the moment, you have 9 pages of single spaced regulation.
Did you say you've been working on adding the language or?
Yeah, I wanna highlight all that, so any changes to the draft that we got back, or the original draft from the planning commission, stand out like a sore thumb, and we can hit those, just go right down the line. And either approve, correct, delete, or add to those as we go through it. So once we get through with page 9, we should have a final draft we can send to legal and say, knock yourself
Oh,
out,
look at it again.
I just wanna make sure we do it right the first time.
Well, and that's leads me to this, I gave you all a zoning map,
Right,
which is pretty close. Now, if you look at R1 single residential. If we open this whole thing up. Where short term is allowed in R1. You can see we're not gonna have any residents,
No residential.
right?
Okay, so how many are operating in R one right now?
Well, there were, last time I knew it was like 93.
Okay, and who's gonna shut them down?
Well, that's,
Because right now, they're not legal.
You can't,
According to the law, we
you
can't.
can't shut them
Right.
down.
well, it depends on the judge. What would happen is, it would go to the courts would decide.
Right,
It went all the way up to the legislation and never, they sat on it, nothing ever happened. So there's another township out there that actually did, shut it down. Blue Relay or something like that, I have to look it back up there. I'm just pointing out that we really need to look at this because look at all the yellow.
Mhm.
I understand that,
I
but
mean, maybe redistricting might be another thing, you know, we might wanna look at.
Yeah,
Because really our problem
in
area,
other words, you,
Crystal Beach is our problem area,
If it's waterfront.
yes, we
can you
know,
limit the section?
you know?
we know.
Can we redistrict it to I don't know. It's getting to be, and then how, like you said, Tom, how are we gonna force this?
Yeah, and
And
the other
then
thing
our
is,
zoning is gone.
you know, the legacy owners that have owned property on that shoreline.
Yeah, I know you
for-
made promises, right, which was wrong, well, we're not gonna get into that.
Uh,
So-
What you're doing here is that STRs, okay, are having a detrimental effect on property values here. Okay, on the neighborhoods and the community here, on traffic here.
That's,
And
that's one
there are
side.
a few of them
The
on-
other side says that's not the short-term rentals that's causing the problem.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, we could go back and forth on that, but what we need to do is set a date
Set a date.
Let's set a date,
and look at the
let's
ordinance.
set a date.
Do you wanna do,
We wanna do a weekend daytime thing or we wanna do an evening?
I'd rather do weekend daytime.
Okay,
well, we have the 27th this month, and we got, February 3rd. Well, February the 10th, that is.
Okay, 27th.
27th would be next Saturday.
Too soon,
Yeah, that's too soon for
Okay.
me. February 3rd.
so
February 3rd,
February 3rd, okay.
when's the Super Bowl?
Oh, I don't know. Does anybody know?
That's that.
What's that?
it's on a Sunday.
On Sunday? Okay. We're good.
Saturday or Sunday?
So February,
February 3rd,
Is it Saturday?
10 AM.
10 AM,
and that, I'd like to stress, let's just put, that is the only thing.
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Yep, that-
SDRs.
Nothing else.
Can you tell us what time, February 3rd? I'm sorry,
10 AM,
10 a.m.?
yes, that's February 3rd.
And now, I will say, we have had plenty of input from the public on both sides of this
Yeah.
issue. And some in the middle,
So it will be board meeting only.
yes. Basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit down and we're gonna come up with a final draft. Okay, its effectiveness will probably be tested in court by somebody.
Either way,
oh, okay, it's a given.
So, we wanna make sure that our Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted on this.
Did you say there's no public comment then?
You
It's
have to allow.
anytime we have a board meeting and we're
But
discussing.
regular, like 3 minutes.
This is not, this is not a workshop, this is a board meeting, so the public is invited. All right, I would allow public comment, I guess, at the end of the meeting. Forego.
Yeah.
The front part and let us do our job,
Yeah.
okay, and then let them, have at us.
Cause there's been plenty of public input on this,
Oh, yeah, I got you.
and then try to limit it to 3 minutes.
And what I'm trying to do is sift through all this and see what is pertinent, what needs to be addressed in the final draft. Okay, and make it fair. You know, as fair as we possibly can. Do that, and also, you have to have an application process, and right now, it's basically send us a site plan and count the number of parking spaces you have. So there's some holes to fill there, as far as, number of bedrooms, what qualifies, is an RV included, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, let's move on, Mr. Chair, we're out of order.
Yeah. Okay, so February 3rd, Saturday, 10 a.m., STR only. Former clerk restitution, we already covered. B&E report on the inventory of missing items. So do you have anything further on that?
The sheriff has not contacted me. I'll reach out to him this, probably next week.
What about approximate cost for, insurance claim?
I gave everybody a packet. You have those numbers.
What was the date that was finished? When you finished talking with the sheriff? How long has it been?
I don't have the day right on.
Been a couple months?
Oh, yeah, it's been a couple months.
Okay, new business budget pay resolutions, that'll be dealt with in February meeting.
Leave the 4:13.
And that would be for the officers, trustees,
It'd be for everybody, wouldn't it? Possibly.
and, CBA and planning commission. Okay, February meeting. Contracts, zoning, we've already been through. That issue remains in question. Parks we've taken care of, sheriff, we're in process of. The minutes policy, I'm not really, I think we have that resolved. As far as what.
Well, I did purchase this book, Policy Matters, and it gives me sample township policies.
Right,
So if you'd like, I think I added just the pages on minutes. We can adopt that policy or we can edit that to what
Okay.
we want, but this whole thing starts with township administration
yeah,
and then board meetings and the style of meetings that we have, the agenda. It goes through everything to do with a board meeting. So our policy really needs to reflect everything, not just the minutes.
okay.
So.
What I'm
if
worried
we
about
wanna
is
look
what-
at If we want to look at this entire policy and include the minutes in that, I think that's something that we should do, because I don't think there really is a good working policy manual that we have for anything.
Right,
And so I think we could go there and, work on all of the different sections of this. Where did the minutes go? Minutes. The minutes are actually the smallest part of this policy.
okay,
And I can show you, I have this book that has policy on minutes. I have this that has policy on minutes. This is, another source, I can't remember. And then I have the clerk's guide, and then I have this other, I have so much policy on minutes that I don't think we need to belabor anything. Most of it does go back to clerk's preference. If we do set a standard policy, we would want to put the MCL information in there. There was one thing on here that you had said that you wanted to include, the public attendance by name, including Zoom. I would disagree with that because it is a board meeting. It's.
I would
the
say
board
any
public.
pertinent public comment, okay.
Even
would be-
that.
Should be addressed.
Even that, most of these policies I'm looking at do not recommend you include public comment.
Yep.
They don't recommend it,
Uh,
because it's the business of the board, not the public's
I
opinion.
understand that, but if
And
there,
that's what the record is for.
I agree with that.
okay, well,
So other than that, I think, most everything we're doing already. And those are the notes that I made on this.
I just want to get us on the same page. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the minutes for the last two,
Yeah.
you're good.
Sure.
Condensing for a synopsis
We're
is
getting it down.
difficult, but we're getting there.
Start and stop. Okay, no closed session unless somebody wants one. Public comment. See everybody February 3rd at 10 a.m. Motion to adjourn.
So one
Okay.
second, I do have a public comment.
Yes, sir.
So, my name is Luke Popiel, and, I know there was you mentioned that you're going to go through the ordinance and you want it to be tested in court, but I do want to stress that one of the things is we are actually working, so it's not tested in court regardless of which side it is, that it's fair and everyone is understanding both sides and it's cordial. So, I I do believe it should be taken that both sides want something without the courts. That's what has been occurring. And so the lawyers have been working together from both the attorney representing some of the members that have STRs and also from the attorney that's representing the township or is helping out as well that's been hired. So, I just want to stress that we want to avert the courts. Everybody wants to avert the courts. We shouldn't just throw something just so let's see what the court will say. So just want to reiterate the point that it should be a process that's cordial and understanding of both sides. And I think everybody wants that.
Correct. My point is, this is a community. Okay, we represent the community. All right, so what we do want to do is come up with something that's well thought out. Okay, and that doesn't have to be tested in court. But that's enforceable. So anyway, that's what I'll say. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Anybody else?
One thing else.
What's that?
We need to schedule that meeting with the hospital.
That's, with, Cam.
I scheduled for, February 7th.
Then,
February 7th, are you talking about?
no,
The one
meeting
that-
with the hospital administrator
Oh, that's right,
about.
yeah, they wanted the township.
Isn't that the one that gave us 4 options of dates?
Yeah.
I saw.
And I told her I would be there for the February 7th one.
No, those are open forums.
Oh, okay, that's not what you're. Okay.
Kevin wants to meet with the clerk and the supervisor and the township rep
Not,
outside.
okay, I must have missed that.
I would have to hunt that email, but,
Just so you know, there's a lot of money on the table if they go to not for profit.
Hmm.
Township can be rebated about $1 million.
So you don't think it's gonna be put to the vote of the?
Oh, I have to go to the voters. There's no, I'm just saying, part of the process that the government has said that when you go from whatever, Act 47 hospital to a nonprofit hospital, the hospital has to refund 5 years of taxes that they collected.
Right,
That was in your email.
Hmm?
You sent that.
No, that's not in the email. That's what I get when I go to the board meetings. Okay.
okay,
And it's 900, just short of $1 million for Clearwater Township,
okay, I do believe.
but it has to be approved by the voters.
All right. Rattle my cage with that email again. I mean, I know I saw it,
Okay, I'll dig it.
but, and have to dig it out, and I'll look for it too.
yes, question, I know that we get a lot of people who are using the services there. And then they ask us to give them the last 5 years' taxes, which will counter, so I've done it for my mom, the price of what they owed. So that was something would stop them.
Yeah, what they're saying there, you can bring in your tax receipt and whatever you paid in tax money comes off your bill,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people like that.
Okay. Are we done?
I am.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn, second,
I second that.
adjourn.
Okay, 8:47. Under 2 hours.
Yeah.